Hello, and welcome to another session in our teaching series, Hidden Facts in Biology. We are still on the transport system, and we'll be looking at another subtopic, which is talking about the materials for transportation. The materials transported in living organisms actually include varieties such as water, digested food, gases, excretory products, hormones, and other materials such as vitamins and antibodies, etc. So we'll be looking at these different materials that are being transported. First of all, let's look at the excretory products. Excretory products are produced in body cells by respiration, except urine, which is produced during deamination in the liver. So these excretory products, after they are produced, they are being carried in solution in the blood, and they are carried to different organs such as the lungs. They can be carried to the kidney, can be carried to the skin, and also to the liver. So the next material that is being transported we'll be looking at is gas. So gases are being taken from air through respiratory surfaces and all cells of the body. For example, when we breathe in oxygen, the oxygen enters into our body, and for it to be transported through various tissues where it's going to work on, it needs to what? Pass through the blood, and this is why gases are materials that are being transported. Also, carbon dioxide is also transported out of the body. Another material for transportation are food materials. So after the process of digestion, that is after food materials are digested in the intestine, they are being carried by blood system to all cells of the body, because these cells of the body need this digested food, so they have to be carried to them. So food materials have been transported also. Another materials that are transported includes hormones. Hormones are actually chemical messengers produced by glands in the endocrine system. So these hormones are being transported to their target organs and tissues, and what helps them is the lymphatic and blood system. So they are carried by the lymphatic and blood system to target organs where they are needed. And these hormones, they regulate different bodily functions, including growth, development, metabolism, and reproduction, and other functions. So the next one we are going to be looking at are antibodies. Antibodies are actually proteins that are produced by the immune system. They are carried in through colloidal solutions in blood to all parts of the body. So most antibodies are produced in white blood corpuscles, and they are produced in response to the presence of a foreign substance, maybe a bacteria, a virus, or toxins, and these foreign substances are usually called antigens. So when they are produced, they will be transported. We have looked at different materials that can be transported, including the excretory products, the gas, the food materials, the hormones, and the antibodies. Now we'll be going to the media for transportation, or the media of transportation. So before we look at the different media or means of transportation, it's important for us to take note that in living things, that there is a lifelong process of continuous exchange of materials within the cells in their body and between the entire organism and the environment. The exchange of materials is a continuous process as far as the living things are alive. For these materials to be exchanged, there need to be a media. In other words, exchange of these materials is through some media. The media of transportation in living things include the following. We have cytoplasm, there is the body fluid, there is blood and lymph, there is cell sap, there is lattice, and water. So now we are going to be taking all these different media individually. The first one we look at is the cytoplasm, which is present in cells. The environment, or we won't talk about the habitat of unicellular plants and even animals, is majorly aquatic, and as such, their bodies are constantly bathed by the water present in that habitat. So when you look at unicellular plants, that is those plants that have one cell, and unicellular animals, those animals that have one cells, their environment, that is where they stay, their habitat is majorly aquatic, that is majorly water bodies, and because of that their body is constantly bathed by the water that is present in this habitat. So dissolved oxygen and nutrients that are present in this water can enter into the cells of this organism by the process of diffusion, and upon entering the cells, these substances can be transported to all parts of the cell by the process of cytoplasmic streaming. When we say cytoplasmic streaming, we mean is a process that helps to distribute nutrients and materials through the cell. It can also be called protoplasmic streaming and is the directed flow of the cytoplasm within cells. So these materials are transported by the process of cytoplasmic streaming. Waste product of metabolism also will leave the cells by diffusion. So we have seen how the cytoplasm is a media for transportation. Example of some unicellular organisms that use this medium of cytoplasmic streaming include the amoeba, the paramecium, and euglena. So the next media of transportation we'll be looking at is the body fluids, which is present in the invertebrates. The body fluids of invertebrates serve as their medium of transport. This body fluid actually bathes various cells of the invertebrate, and the body fluid that bathes various cells of the invertebrate body as it flows transports food, oxygen, and waste products of metabolism to their respective destination. In the invertebrates, excretory organs lie in the coelom and are bathed by the body fluid, which is called coelomic fluid. Of note is that open circulatory system might be found in some invertebrates like insects and mollusks. That brings us to the question, what is open circulatory system? In open circulatory system, blood flows freely through cavities since there are no vessels to conduct the blood. And a typical example is found in the insects, where blood flow is only in one direction, that is unidirectional, into space called hemospheres, which are found in the body cavity. Now we'll be looking at the blood and lymph. Blood and lymph play an important role in transportation in higher animals. The blood moves through vessels which are known as the blood vessels, and these vessels include the arteries, the veins, and capillaries, while the lymph moves through lymphatic vessels. A typical example of lymphatic vessels is the lacteal, which transports fatty acids and glycerol. And at some terminal points in the lymphatic vessels, we see what we call the lymph nodes. Lymph nodes are responsible for producing white blood cells. That is, lymph nodes which produce white blood cells are found at some set points in the lymphatic vessels. Lymph has no red blood cell. That is an important thing for you to know, that in the lymph, the presence of the red blood cell is lacking. The next one we are going to be looking at is the cell sap or lattice. This we can see in plants. Plants use either the cell sap or lattice as their medium of transport. The solution that is present in cell sap of plants is usually concentrated, and this concentration is greater than the incoming solution, and the concentration of cell sap in the upper part of the plant is greater than that below. That is, when you check the cell sap, the concentration of the solution in the upper parts is greater than that below, and this concentration difference enables the cell sap to serve as transport media in plants. Another media of transport is the lattice. Lattice, which is an excretory product in some plants, contains fluids, and as such, it is also used as a medium of transport. So we are done with the topic on materials for transportation. We are done with that subtopic. Now we'll be taking some questions. So we'll look at some examples and then do a few exercises. The first example here says the medium in which dissolved nutrients are transported in the body of vertebrates is called A. Latex, B. Urine, C. Cessap, D. Blood, E. Hemoglobin. The answer to this question is D, and this is because the blood is the medium of transport in vertebrates. Of note is that Cessap is also a medium of transport, even latex, but they are medium of transport in plants. That is the Cessap and the latex. They are medium for transport in plants. So now we'll go into our next question. It says, which of the following is the medium of transportation of nutrients within a cellular organism? A. Blood, B. Serum, C. Protoplasm, D. Plasma, E. Lymph. The answer to this question is C, and this is because the protoplasm, which consists of the cytoplasm and the nucleus, is the medium of transport based on the question. But in more detail is that it is the cytoplasm that is the media of transport in unicellular organism, and this cytoplasm is present or contained in the protoplasm. So that's why C is the answer. Now the next question here, it says list 4 materials transported in the body of flowering plants. List the following materials are transported in the body of flowering plants. They include water, sugar, mineral salts, and amino acid. So this brings us to the end of the few examples we are going to be taking. Now we'll be looking at the exercise that we have. This exercise are taken from our book in Hidden Facts in Biology in pages 135. The answers are in the answer section of the book, and you can see that both in soft copy and hard copies of the book. Thank you for listening.